Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Evil Within DLC, the Executioner. No damage run, pretty much. I forget the name of the achievement, you'll see it at the end. It's something to do with a steel box, but essentially we're going through the entire campaign without taking a hit. It sounds very intimidating. It's actually incredibly easy, especially if you're using the techniques I'm showing you in this video, which is just cheese the game with the rocket launcher. This next room's an interesting one. Once again, all you have to do is fire a rocket if you want to and you don't want to take the risk. But I'm going to do something different, 'cause I didn't want the guide just to be rocket spam. So this is one of those invisible guys who eats your face. And I found that if I throw a trap on the path towards where I've entered the room, and then I run around the other side, it forces him to run around and get stuck in the trap. This worked every time on my recording run and my practice run, and then I was playing it the other day and it didn't. So you might have issues where this doesn't work, but once again, you don't have to do it this way, but that's the way it worked really well for me until the time it didn't. So just be aware that it's not infallible. And once you've done that, you can actually go back here and save if you don't want to have to keep killing him should you make a mistake on the Amalgam Alpha. But the good news is, I think this is probably the most balanced boss in the entire DLC, because not only is there a really good strategy against it, but it's also very simple and it's kind of dynamic in how it works. So the Amalgam Alpha knocks cars at you. If you attack the cars as they're coming towards you, you'll knock them back. This gave me the strategy of perhaps attacking the cars, and if you notice, the third hit of the combo that the Keeper does is a knocking attack, so you can actually knock the cars at it without the need of it knocking them towards you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stun it with the cars, and I'm going to follow up with a running attack. I'm not going to get greedy on my hits. Running attack does enough damage and it enables me to get away. And what will happen here is a couple of Haunted are going to passively spawn, one to my right just there. If you stun him, you can grab him and throw him as an explosive. He does a lot of damage against the boss. It's a good strategy, but it's incredibly dangerous to grab things. You get hit so easily by other things, so I'm just going to deal with the lackeys and then focus on stunning the boss. So there was the Y to knock it back, but I don't think it stuns him. No, it didn't reach him. And that guy's about to turn into one of those ground things. I don't need to tell you that that's dangerous. Stay away from it. I'm going to play keep away with the car, and he just blows up on his own. So wait for the boss to get close, start your combo, and then the third hit knocks it into him. There you go. And then running attack, and then another attack, and then get out of there. Move to the next car and repeat. Of course, if you want to use the rocket, it'll kill it in like 2 hits and there's no danger of being hit. But I wanted to show you that there's good ideas in this DLC and there could have been really interesting fights, but a lot of them are just people with guns and it's really just bland, really. You get hit, you get shot, you get stunned, it's not very fun. But this fight I really like. That stunned it as well. I didn't realise that I'd stunned it just then, but it did. There's another dude turning into one of those awful monsters. So I tried to stun the boss with hopes of stunning the creature, and then I get the kill. Puts me in a cutscene, saves me, and that's the end of the fight. So that boss was pretty tricky when you played as Sebastian, but playing as the Keeper, it is a big bitch. Like straight up just easy mode engaged. And I wish all of the bosses had a kind of hook like that, where you could figure out some kind of, you know, cheeky weakness. But so far, the only ones that really do are the Dark Keeper at the end, that boss just then, and the Tall Twin. Those are the bosses that actually feel like there was something to them. The rest of them just feel kind of messy. I was totally expecting to see the dog as well. I thought you'd see the dog. I thought you'd see the giant spider thing. I thought you'd see a lot of things you didn't see. It leaves an interesting taste in your mouth, this DLC, because as much as I enjoyed it, I don't really understand who it's for, and I don't really understand what it achieved. It wasn't very long, it wasn't very realised, it was just kind of a simple mechanic that they ran with to add a little bit of filler content, and coming from, you know, Mikami, you expect slightly more. Like this is something that can be compared, or this is this game's equivalent of Mercenaries, and Mercenaries is a mode that some people don't care about, that never really bothered with, they just think it's superfluous, but I know a lot of people, myself included, who spent many an hour in Mercenaries mode chasing high scores and just having fun with the combat system. So when you compare them directly, it just doesn't hold up. There's just not enough here. You know, the mechanics aren't sound enough. They're not even interesting enough. Like, the Keeper has, I think, 3 different execution moves, and you can't control which ones you get. Like, you can't use them to ambiently make the experience better. it just seems really strange, and especially when it's pulling the camera out with a third person to show you the executions and then putting it back into first. There's a moment of sheer terror where you don't know where you are as the keeper and you have to move quickly because you're probably about to get attacked, and it just leaves you feeling like you have far too many blind spots, but still a lot of fun. And this is, believe it or not, the final boss, so we're at the end of the DLC. I mentioned on Twitter, if you don't follow me there, it's a good place to make sure you don't miss videos and just to hear random shit if you're interested, but I said that it took me like 35 minutes to record this, and I got hit once. And I got hit by the Amalgam Alpha, believe it or not. It was bullshit, really. I was trying to run past it, and I clipped on it, and I got hit by something. And it was one of those moments where I could get through. It looked perfectly fine, but the keeper's just got really wide shoulders apparently, or he's wearing shoulder pads or something. But here is the Dark Keeper. I put the trap there to try and slow him down with the teleport. It never seems to grab his leg, and you always have enough time to trap him. So drop the ceiling on him, crush the box, and then it's going to get to the second one. So the second phase of this is interesting because every single time I did this prior to this recording, he came from one direction. Then on this recording, he came from the other, which I thought was pretty interesting. It mixes it up a little bit. So I throw a trap just there, and then I wait. And you're going to notice I position the camera so I can look both lanes at the same time. And all we want to do is you want to stand in line with your trap so that when the keeper gets close enough, he'll do a dashing attack, and then the trap will catch him, and then you can drop the ceiling. You don't have to use the trap if you don't want to. You can just, you know, bait and switch and then pull the lever and get him that way, but I think this is much, much safer. So here I go watching. I couldn't hear this, by the way, if you're wondering. I was playing with no volume. I heard him just then. It would have made this much more simple. There's the trap, there's the crush. So here's the area that you might have issue with. I actually watched DSP die here like 8 times. It was one of the funniest moments of the year. I was in absolute tears. It was rather wonderful. I've never died here. I've never even been hit here. Like, I didn't know you could. But I mean, I assumed you could, but still. So it's going to transition to a cutscene of the keeper putting his sword into the ground, and he's going to summon Laura, or some kind of Laura clone, which is going to chase you. And we're all aware of what this is. We played a Kumu mode. We ain't no new player. We know what this means. So my first instinct is, I need to run. So the first thing you do is you run directly forward, and you strafe to the left a little bit, and then you just loop the room. And you'll not even see her again. Like, all I do is I run. You've got unlimited sprint, because apparently the super unfit, massively fat keeper is better than Sebastian when it comes to athletics. And all you do is you loop the room 3 times, and on the 3rd loop you'll see the keeper, and then you smack him with your hammer. So yeah, tricky, I guess. But if you haven't seen that video, it's worth watching, guys. He insults the fuck out of the game, just mercilessly, and all because he didn't realise you could run. Like, it is a brutal, brutal show, but incredibly funny. Once you slap him, drop a trap the exact same way you did last time, wait for him to line up, he'll hang himself, basically, because he'll dash into the trap, keep on positioning yourself, and then hit the switch, and you've done it. An incredibly simple run through the game, no damage. There you go. But should you buy this? I don't know. It's really cheap, and I had a lot of fun with it. The story stuff is so throwaway, you'll blink and you'll miss it. Like, you get pretty much the same amount of story as you did from when you were looking at the bobblehead thing. Like, it's an interesting prospect, but if you want to smack some stuff, if you want to have, you know, a couple more achievement points, or if you're a completionist and you want to get everything from The Evil Within, definitely check it out. I predict there'll probably be some kind of Game of the Year edition where all this shit's combined. So maybe you'll get it then, but I don't know. So there it is. I've got Box of Steel. It's a play on the Duke Nukem. And there you go. Pretty simple stuff, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in Batman, Arkham Knight, or Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. You take care now.